Alright guys, today we are going to be doing the fuel lines and primer bulb on a Poulan Pro PR46BT backpack blower. Any of the parts we use will be in the description below. One more step and it's this will be a whole carburetor replacement, so I'll even put the new carburetor in the description below and show you how to put that on as well during this video. If this helps out in any way, shape, or form, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, show me a little support. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get this air filter cover off. The air filter off. Before we go to town on taking this carburetor off, we're going to go ahead and give this a good rinse with some brake cleaner. Trying to get some of the dirt off of this. 2 Phillips head screws, pop them out. Thing fell out, but there's a gasket goes between the engine and the carburetor. Alright. Now you don't have to take this off to do the primer bulb, but we're going to because it's going to be easier. So, and it also, this would be what you would do if you were, you know, removing the carburetor. To replace it. So you just throttle it up. See, the cable just kind of pops out of there, and you just lift the cable up out of the slot and let the throttle off. Then it's 10 millimeter. Loosen that nut. Cable slides right out. Now here's the tip. If you're changing your new carburetor is not going to have this. So you're going to undo this screw, and this will slide right out, and you undo that screw and that screw on the other one. Slide this piece in where the other piece is. Get rid of the other piece, slide this one into the new carburetor, and put the new carburetor screws back down in it, and then you'll have that slot. Aftermarket, they make them for a wide range of them, so they use the same ends all the time. Alright, anyways, back down to what we're doing. Let me go ahead and get my stand set up, and we'll do the primer bulb on this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to unscrew the 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to undo those. Alright, so we're just going to pull off the primer bulb. We can go in further and inspect. That's nice and soft. That feels good. Pull this part off. It's a little stiff, but I think it'll be fine. There's no debris in the screen here, so we're golden. We're going to go ahead, set all that there, get our new primer bulb in. Just pop it out. Pop the new one in. Easy peasy. Make sure this is all back together right here. These little nipple areas will go down on these holes here, like so. Twist the primer ball, make sure that it goes in all the way. 4 bolts back in. Tighten them down. We're going to just get them snugged up. Snug. We're going to go cross corner to the other bolt. Snug. 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 Alright, so then we're going to give this one a good tight. And then go cross corner, get this one a good tighten. Go back over here, get this one a good tighten. cross corner, give this one a good tighten. Then we're going to double check everything. Make sure it's all tight. Alright, now we're going to remove the rest of this old fuel line so that it's we can do the new fuel lines and everything. I'll explain where the fuel lines go in a minute. Oh, you little prick. Blurred out. Why are you blurred out? There we go. Alright. That wasn't blurred out for a long time. You got the idea though. I'm gonna cut into this fuel line. Get it to come off. Alright. So, just to explain where everything is. This is the fuel line that goes to the filter. This is the return line. Big nipple goes to the filter. See, it's got the barbs on it. And this one goes to the return line. Alright, let's get to the actual tank. Go ahead, drain the tank out, get all the fuel out of there. You want to start with brand new fresh gas that you bought today. We're just going to go ahead and pop this grommet out. Flathead screwdriver underneath it. Pop it right on out. Now there's old filter and fuel line in there. Make sure you get all that out. Make sure it's completely clean inside this tank. So we're going to go ahead and take the fuel line. We're going to cut it into a point. Stab it through one of the holes of the grommet. Is a bit of a pain in the butt, but stabbing it through is harder than pulling it through. So once you get it through enough, grab the other end, pull it through maybe about 8 inches. Or as I like to tell my wife, a foot. And we'll cut this end off. And then put a filter on it. Stab a new filter right on it. Now we don't know how long this is supposed to be, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut a point on the other end, turn it around, shove it right back into the grommet. And in this one we only have to get through about 1 inch. Not even really that, just needs to get through it. Again, it's easier to pull it through than push it through. So once you got it through enough that you can grab it, go ahead and grab it and pull it through a little bit. Now we got to remember what side's filter and what side's not. So we're going to go ahead, bring it over here to the tank. See if we can back you up enough to get you a good view here. We're going to stick the filter in. We're going to keep this side with the filter closest to the fuel inlet. Put it all the way in. We're going to push the grommet down. Can you see that? I don't know if you, yeah, you can see that. Push the grommet down on one side. The back side we're going to push in, and then we're going to use a flathead screwdriver and slowly work it in from one side to the other. Slowly work that grommet in until it pops right in. Now the side closest to the fuel inlet, the fill is the one with the filter. All right. Now we know which one's which. All right. We're going to take the throttle. We're going to put it into the carburetor. See, one side has a bigger opening than the other side, so you want the cable to go in to the side that's got the bigger opening, like that. See, it just hooks in. and then we bring it around and then tighten this back down. Make sure this is pointing down to the bottom of the carburetor, but tighten it down with a 10mm. Then we want to double check, make sure that our throttle's still working. Alright, we're golden. Alright, now we're going to put the air filter assembly choke towards the recoil. We're going to push it through the carburetor. Remember, big nipple is the one that takes the filter. Little nipple is the return line without the filter. Alright, take our gasket. We want the little holes down to the bottom of the carburetor. Those are your vacuum lines that run your fuel pump. If they don't line up with this hole here into the hole on the bottom of the carburetor, it won't pump any fuel. So I'm going to put them in. We're going to go ahead and tighten them down. And then we're going to go ahead and figure out the length of the fuel line that we need to, we're going to cut the fuel lines to the proper length. Hold on, let me get this tightened up. Alright, so again, we're going to start with the furthest away from the tank. Actually, you know what? We'll start with the fuel filter one, closest to the fill part of the tank. We're going to line it up to the big nipple, which is closest to the engine. We're going to line it up. We're going to cut it off to length. And then we can stab it on to the big nipple. That is the fuel filter line right there. And this is the return line furthest away from the mouth of the tank. We're going to line it up. We're going to cut it to size. And stab it on. And that's your return line. Boom, your lines are all hooked up. Now we're going to take and put some gas in the tank. And then we're going to prime it and see if it takes prime. Alright, that's a good sign, it's taking prime. If it isn't taking prime, you can look in the mouth of the tank and prime. If you see foam coming out of the fuel filter, you know you've got these two lines backwards. Flip them around, re-stab them in, and you're fine. You can pull a little bit more out, or if you got too much line out here and it's kind of looping over too much, make sure they're not kinking. If it's too much of a loop, shove more line in to the tank. No big deal. Alright, gas cap goes back on, shove it in place, screw it on. I don't know if this is going to run, but we're going to give it a wing. Full choke, primed up. Switch on. I can't tell which is on or off. I actually had to break out a spark tester. The freaking on-off switch has no markings at all on it. So up is on. I got spark air. So we're going to go up. We're going to give this thing full throttle. We're going to go ahead, prime it, full choke. Well, it's trying to run. Prime it up again. Full choke. Alright, so it needs a carburetor adjustment. I'll do a whole nother video on that. I'm going to go ahead and put the filter in. And then the air filter cover. Screw it in place. Again, I'll put all the parts in the description below. Is this upside down? Yeah, it's upside down. Yeah, it is. All the parts in the description below. This helped you out in any way, shape, or form. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Show me a little support. If you want to do any advertising on my channel, message me. I'd be more than happy to have you. Peace.